Back to back with mascot horror again. I'm chill, dude. So Bendy and the Ink Factory was announced on August 27th of 2025, and yeah, I'm pretty much looking forward to it. But there are a couple of things that have been poking at my brilliantly weird mind in recent times that make me think, how can I be a spoiled brat? So today I figured I'd jot down my hopes for Ink Factory that will just probably get me clapping like a seal. But before I do anything of the sorts, it would mean a whole lot if you liked the video and subscribe. It'd be pretty cool, and chances will increase that I will give you a high five. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Anyways, let's just do this. The first thing I hope to see in Ink Factory is bigger and more interesting challenges. Basically, I want to feel like I'm playing Resident Evil in hardcore mode or Dark Souls in bendy form. I like a good challenge, and I do play a lot of games to the point where it's like not really too big of a deal. It's not really a flex, it's just a lot of years of experience, and I want to be able to feel frustrated playing a bendy game like I would a FNAF game, alright? Alright, cool. So let me get this straight, you're saying you don't like fighting searchers and lost ones? I don't. And I'm tired of pretending I do. My biggest complaint from Dark Revival is a lack of enemy variety. What do I mean? Well, let me bring up a couple of enemies in other games. In Silent Hill 2, you have the Bubblehead Nurse, the Lying Figure, the Mannequin, the Mandarin, Pyramid Head, Abstract Daddy, Flesh Slip, and Mary. The last four are bosses. Still not enough? Well, take a look at Resident Evil 2. The zombies, zombie dogs, lickers, sewer monsters, plants, Mr. X, the alligator, and a bajillion forms from Birkin. That's not all of them, because the last three I just mentioned are bosses. In Bendy and the Dark Revival, you got Lost Ones in the Cult of Amok himself, the weird glowing Lost Ones in the final boss, the Searchers, the Butcher Gang, the Keepers, the Widows, Alice, Ship Ahoy Wilson, and the Ink Demon, which hardly even feels like an enemy. And that's pretty much it. I really hope that Ink Factory will explore and experiment with different enemy types. Something like cartoons coming out from paper in these horribly mangled forms would be an interesting swarm type enemy. For a franchise that prides itself off being inspired by rubber hose animation, it surely does not feel like it's taking any of those inspirations all the way. So I do hope Ink Factory does something of the sorts. Cage was said to be an M-rated horror game, yet Ink Factory is said to be going back to its T rating. It's not necessarily a bad thing, and I don't think making games gory and disgusting should be the priority of a horror game. I say as I get tomatoes and hard fruit thrown at me, but I do want them to keep similar unsettling atmospheres and monsters, and I want to feel dread again. I want to be able to panic. I want to be able to hold my controller and keep my head 2 inches away from the screen. I want to be afraid, and the game really does not have to rely on blood and guts and all that. You know, I'm just talking. Not every game has to be like Outlast or Amnesia or Silent Hill or Resident Evil, simply because it doesn't have to be. But then again, I also would argue that knowing that an enemy can mangle you in that way, it kind of makes a threat more apparent that way. I don't know, I think this one's a more double-edged sword now that I think about it, but I do hope they continue making it scary. I never usually mind the gameplay in bendy games, even if they are too inspired by BioShock. That being said, I'm sorry, but someone needs to address this. It would genuinely be kind of lame if they went to the whole BioShock-inspired gameplay thing again, and didn't try to be its own thing. With the gameplay taking place both in the real world and in the cycle, there's quite a bit of potential to be had. Maybe switching up the gameplay for each world, maybe different combat for one world and completely new gimmick for the other. Hopefully not BioShock inspired. Something like I listed above would probably be more interesting than the third bendy game inspired by BioShock, which honestly also brings me to my last thing I hope this game does. And what I gotta say might be a bit of a doozy, but oh well. A bit more of a detailed rant about what I mentioned above, but I seriously want to see Bendy strive to be its own thing more than just be considered a BioShock ripoff. I want to be able to see this franchise flourish and get its time in the spotlight again, especially with it being the last mainline entry. To me, it gives me a really bad thought about this being Bendy's last chance at relevancy, despite all the projects there are in the works. It might sound like I'm being a little bit on the childish side, and trust me, I'm trying not to go off like that, but I never really found it fair how Poppy Playtime and by extension Five Nights at Freddy's could churn out low quality products and still maintain their relevancy. Meanwhile, Bendy has more effort put into them and yet no one bats an eye. And it just felt like Bendy lost its chance since Dark Revival, as much as I do like that game. And with hardly a lot of people knowing about Ink Factory or Cage, let alone knowing Dark Revival actually came out, it just fills me with so much doubt for this franchise behind the scenes, and I really hope Ink Factory does something that will put itself in front of many people's eyes again soon. Let's just wait and see. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to yap about. I'm gonna end this off by asking you guys, are you excited for Ink Factory? What is it you want to see in this game? Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear what you think. Sorry if the videos have been slow going and this is on the shorter side. Life's pretty much gotten in the way of everything again and I had no time to record, let alone edit. Sucks buns, but you know, that's the way it is. But I should be getting back to it soon enough. I'm trying to keep my gears going for this, and I'm hard at work at the Meta Runner review, and that should be out soon. But for now, I'm going to get back to playing BioShock just because I've been in the mood to play that lately. It's pretty good, but thank you for watching, or thank you for listening. I'll catch you guys later.